Hey guys, and welcome back. This is my reaction video to Florida State losing to Stanford. This is my surprised look. Can you tell? Nah. Yeah, I saw a lot. I keep up with online, X, Twitter, whatever, YouTube. It seemed like there was a lot of Seminoles that were pretty confident going into this game. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll win this game against Stanford. No, not this guy. No, I, I'm not upset. Like I just kind of figured it was par for the course. Um, I'm at a point where there's no games that I just take as a gimme. It's just the majority of Mike Norvell's tenure at Florida State. He, anything can happen. So no, I'm not surprised at all. There's some talk about that final play, whether or not that was a touchdown. Looked like it was in to me, but irrelevant. Doesn't matter. I mean, if it was in, I guess that could have been the game-winning touchdown. But there's absolutely no excuse. There's going to be some blown calls in any football game, and when you're playing against Stanford, I mean, you should be up by 3 touchdowns. Um, Florida State trailed practically the entirety of the game. I believe, yeah, I think they tied it up for a minute. I don't remember. I didn't take any notes. Um, some of it's a blur. It was just bad football. There was a few decent plays in there. Um, we're far away from where we should be, and it's mind boggling. Um, but no surprise. No, there was no surprise involved in the outcome of tonight. Um, if you saw my video the other day about Mike Norvell, I'm not going to rehash all this, but I will point out a new stat. Mike Norvell is now 1-3 against the three newest additions to the ACC. Those schools that we all universally said uh, shouldn't be brought to the ACC. They just water down and dilute the product, the football product, and don't really bring any kind of value to the conference. And that sentiment still stands, with the exception of SMU, but Cal and Stanford. The sentiment still stands. Uh, my opinion of their football program has not changed at all. I don't think it has for anybody, except that Mike Norvell obviously can't beat him. He beat Cal last year. That was one of the 1-2 wins that he squeezed out last year. Um, so yeah, there's no surprise here. This should be the final straw for Mike Norvell, and I don't know. Michael Alford, that's our athletic director. For those of you that aren't Florida State fans, um, needs to figure out the buyout. That's your job. Come up with solutions, find the money. Mike needs to be gone. Uh, and if you can't, then maybe we'll be calling for you too. But the fan support is completely eroded. You're not going to get more money. So when you go talking about we just need more money, your fans are done with that. You got to make a change. Get people excited. People are going to quit making contributions and throwing money for a losing product. Uh, it just is what it is. Um, I don't know what else to tell you there. Uh, I'm not at a loss for words. Like I said, I'm not sitting here in shock by any means. What else is there left to say though? Mike's not the guy. Uh, and yes, I'm calling for him to be fired. I absolutely am. but I'm very sympathetic to Mike. I really am. I don't want to rehash my last video, but if you didn't see that, then you saw that. I do make a case for the fact that yeah, he's had some curveballs thrown his way that were kind of out of his control, being his first season, being COVID, having no spring or anything like that. Um, I don't mean to rehash everything, but I am sympathetic to the guy. But something changed in Mike, but that's only part of it. Um, Something changed in Mike with the snub when they got left out of the playoffs. But that's definitely part of it. But here's what you're looking at with Florida State. And I also mentioned this in my last video, sorry to repeat myself, but other fan bases were telling us a couple of years ago that relying so heavily on the transfer portal was not sustainable. And they were absolutely right. So what you're seeing now is that Florida State under Mike Norvell was a house of cards. 2022 and 2023, they looked really, really good, but it wasn't stable, and you're seeing the remains of the collapse. It was a house of cards because Mike either cannot or would not recruit. So yeah, the last few weeks there's been a couple of injuries. That's not an excuse, it's college football. You're halfway through the season, everybody's got injuries. That's no excuse, okay? Everybody's got the injuries, but if you've got a few people out with injuries and you're absolutely terrible, it's because you didn't recruit well enough and you didn't develop the people that you did recruit. So, that's it. And the injuries is a non-issue. Injuries is not the result of. That's not what caused the loss to Stanford. I'm not trying to throw that off as an excuse. Or the ACC officiating tonight. There were some bad calls. It was a pretty terribly called game. Nothing to do with the outcome. I might have with that last play, but Stanford is not a good football team, and you had no business playing from behind like the entire game. None. No excuse. Officiating injuries had nothing to do with the outcome. The outcome is on the shoulders of Mike Norvell and the collapsed house of cards that he constructed over the last 6 years. And it's just, it needs to be over. Like I said, I'm not upset. There's absolutely nothing emotional behind any of this. They're just stating facts, stating the obvious to anybody with any kind of sense. Sorry for the guy. I really am. But he's got to go. That's really all I got to say about it. We'll see how much we lose to Wake Forest by. I'm curious to, see where that goes. But anyway, we'll keep at it. I have another video that I have planned, probably sometime. I'll try to get it out within the next week, about a topic that I've been seeing a little discussion about. So I kind of wanted to give my take, and so that'll be out in the next several days. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully this was more entertaining than watching the Seminoles play. I'll catch y'all next time.